Welcome, explorer. You didn't stumble here, you were meant to find this. And to those returning to the world of gems, welcome back. There are stones that shine. Some stones were never meant to be worn as jewelry. They don't sparkle, they don't shine, and they're not for the faint of heart. People don't wear them for luck. They wear them to keep something unseen away. Throughout human history, from the deserts of New Mexico to the jungles of Mesoamerica, from the catacombs of Europe to ancient ruins in Asia, certain minerals have appeared quietly, always near places where something unexplainable has happened. They're not expensive, but there are always those willing to pay dearly to own one, or to bury it forever. In today's list, you'll encounter stones once used to seal the souls of the dead, to mark sacrificial ground, or to reflect something that no human should ever face. And the stone ranked number 1. To this day, no one dares stare into it for more than 3 minutes. The last person who did hasn't spoken since. But not all darkness begins with evil. Some of it begins with grief. And the first stone on our list is not forged in fire, but in sorrow. Scattered across the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico are small, round black stones, easy to miss unless you know what they are. To geologists, they're a form of obsidian, but to the Apache, they are tears that never dried. According to legend, when a group of Apache warriors leaped to their deaths to avoid capture, their families wept at the edge of the cliffs for days, and where those tears fell, the earth turned them to stone. Number 5. Apache tear the stone that still weeps. In the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico, far from the noise of cities, you may come across a small, dark stone, smooth, round, and cold to the touch. It's easy to overlook, but in Apache tradition it is a relic of tragedy, a stone that remembers grief. This is Apache tear, a natural form of obsidian, volcanic glass formed when lava cools rapidly. Unlike sharp-edged obsidian used for tools, Apache tears are gentle in shape, often no bigger than a thumb, with a smoky black or dark brown color. When held up to the sun, they glow faintly like burnt amber. The story behind them is devastating. In the 1870s, a group of Apache warriors, surrounded by U.S. cavalry, chose to leap from a cliff rather than be captured. Their families, upon hearing the news, wept for days. Legend says that their tears fell to the earth and turned to stone. Today, these stones are sold for just $10 to $30, but their true weight is emotional and, some believe, spiritual. In certain esoteric traditions, Apache tears are used to absorb emotional pain. But here's the warning: what absorbs pain may also store it. If worn during grief, the stone can deepen sorrow instead of healing it. It becomes, in some circles, a vessel for trapped energy or even lost souls. It's not a cursed object, but in the wrong hands or under the wrong emotions, it is a mirror no one should look into for too long. Tears may bind the living to the dead, but blood speaks another language. While Apache tears remember sorrow, the next stone remembers something far older, something that has touched the battlefield, the altar, and in some cases, the soul. In the ancient world, warriors did not pray for protection. They painted their skin in red dust, bathed their blades in sacred pigment, and trusted a single stone to carry them through death. Dark green, speckled with red, known across cultures for its ability to seal wounds, and in darker corners, to seal fate. Number 4. Bloodstone, the stone that seals more than wounds. Among collectors, it's often mistaken for jasper. Among warriors, it's considered a seal of courage. But in the hands of alchemists and mystics, it's something else entirely. This is bloodstone, also known as heliotrope, Geologically, it's a dark green variety of chalcedony, speckled with vivid red spots caused by the presence of iron oxide. Its appearance is unmistakable, like droplets of fresh blood frozen in stone. Bloodstone is most commonly found in India, Brazil, and parts of Australia. Historically, it was carved into signet rings and amulets during the Crusades era. In medieval Europe, it was believed to stop bleeding, a claim repeated so often that surgeons once carried it into battle. But not all its uses were so noble. By the late Middle Ages, occult circles had repurposed bloodstone into a tool for more secretive rituals. It was said to have the power to anchor a soul, and some texts describe it as being placed beneath altars during binding spells or blood oaths. In some grim cases, it was used to trap the spirit of a dying enemy, preventing it from crossing over. Today, bloodstone sells for modest prices, often $20 to $50 per piece, unless it's antique. But the value isn't monetary. It lies in what it once represented: healing or domination. It's not inherently dangerous, but it responds to intent. And when that intent turns dark, so does the stone. But where blood flows, it eventually dries. And when it does, what remains is silence. If bloodstone was a warrior's charm in life, the next stone is what guards them in death. Found not on battlefields, but in graves, not on the necks of the living, but clutched in the hands of the departed. Light as wood, dark as midnight, whispered through centuries by priests, queens, and those who speak with spirits. Stone number 3 is older than memory and colder than mourning. Jet, the funeral stone of forgotten empires. Number 3, Jet, the mourning stone. That whispers it isn't a crystal, it doesn't shine, and yet, for over 3,000 years, Jet has accompanied the dead more than any other stone. Jet is not a mineral in the traditional sense. It's a fossilized form of ancient wood, compressed under immense pressure over millions of years. Deep black, lightweight, and soft to the touch, it carries a strange warmth when held, unlike any cold gemstone. Historically, jet was mined across England, especially in Whitby, where it washed ashore in smooth, ghost-like pieces. During the Roman era, it was used in protective amulets, but its true rise came during the Victorian period when it became known as the Mourning Stone. When Queen Victoria lost Prince Albert, she wore nothing but jet for over 40 years. The entire British court followed: funeral jewelry, rosary beads, carved brooches, all in silent black. Jet became the stone of grief and eventually of ritual. But beneath its sorrowful surface lies something darker. In medieval Europe, jet was believed to repel demons, but also to channel spirits. Witches were rumored to grind it into powder for spells. Occult grimoires describe jet as a conductor between the living and the dead. In some texts, it is listed as a tool for necromantic contact. Today, jet is affordable, $10 to $100, depending on craftsmanship, but the price has never defined its danger. It absorbs emotion, intention, even fear, and if worn long enough, it is said to remember its wearer's grief. Some stones mourn the dead, others remember how they died. Jet guards the silence of the grave, but the next stone, it echoes the scream of war. It stains, it seals, and it survives, pressed into the earth not by time, but by the weight of violence. It was never meant for beauty. It was meant to mark, to bind, to bleed. When crushed, it runs red, like something still alive beneath its cold metallic surface. Number 2, Hematite, the sealed blood of the earth. In ancient battlefields, long before steel and gunpowder, warriors painted their skin with the dust of this stone, believing it would make them unkillable. This is hematite, a dense metallic mineral composed of iron oxide. To the untrained eye, it appears silver-black, but when crushed or scratched across stone, it leaves behind a trail of red, like blood drawn from the earth itself. Geologically, hematite is abundant, mined in Brazil, South Africa, and the Ural Mountains. But in antiquity, its value wasn't measured in rarity. It was sacred, feared, and used in rites no one dared perform without protection. The ancient Greeks and Romans ground hematite into powder and mixed it with animal fat to anoint their bodies before war. They called it Bloodstone, not because it healed blood, but because it symbolized the spilling of it. In some cases, weapons were even coated with it as part of sacrificial rites. But its role didn't stop on the battlefield. Across Mesopotamia and into northern Africa, hematite was used in rituals of binding, to trap spirits, seal tombs, or mark the forbidden ground. Occult manuscripts from the Middle Ages list it as a core ingredient in blood seals, used to lock in energies, or to keep something out. Modern-day hematite sells for $10 to $40, mostly as magnetic bracelets or polished talismans. But those who work in energy healing still warn it's not a passive stone. It grounds, but also anchors, and if placed at a spiritual threshold, it may not release what it touches. Blood can be spilled, it can be sealed. But what happens when it's seen? Not remembered, not imagined, seen. Across empires, faiths, and forbidden rites, there is one stone that was never worn, only faced. One that doesn't carry pain or death, but reflects it. It's not rare, not expensive, but no object in the history of sacred warfare and dark magic has appeared more often, or been feared more deeply. No priests bless it, no shamans sleep near it, no mirror holds a darker weight. Number 1. Obsidian. The mirror that should never be stared into. It's not rare, it's not expensive, and yet, across cultures and continents, one stone appears again and again, on altars, in tombs, and in the hands of those who speak with the dead. This is black obsidian, a natural volcanic glass formed when molten lava cools too quickly to crystallize. It's sharp enough to cut flesh, smooth enough to reflect a face, and dark enough to hide what lies behind it. Obsidian is found worldwide, in Iceland, Japan, the American West, and especially in ancient Mesoamerica. The Aztecs called it Itzli, the stone of divine sacrifice. They carved knives, mirrors, and even ritual hearts from it, not for beauty, but for power. The Spanish conquistadors reported seeing obsidian mirrors used in sacred rituals, flat, polished, perfectly black. Shamans would gaze into them for hours, believing they opened a gateway between the physical world and the underworld. Those who looked too long sometimes never returned the same. In medieval Europe, the infamous occultist John Dee used a black obsidian mirror, brought from Mexico as a tool for scrying visions and contacting what he called angels. Others believed he was speaking to something far older. Today, obsidian is sold openly, $5 to $50, depending on size and polish. But ceremonial mirrors, those made for ritual, are still treated with caution in closed traditions. Black obsidian doesn't curse, it reflects. But what it shows isn't always the truth, just the part of you that was always hidden. And once seen, it can't be unseen. These were 5 stones, each carrying more than just minerals. They hold memories, ritual, fear, and for some, a question that may never be answered. If this journey into the hidden side of history intrigued you, consider leaving a like. It helps more than you know. And if you want to uncover what else has been buried, forgotten, or feared, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Because the following story might be darker than this one.